Hi folks, thanks for joining me here today. I'm going to be joined here today by Rob Dyer, who has recently written a book entitled How to Travel in Japan Without Speaking Japanese.
It isn't saying, countryside is better than cities or one way round or the other way round. I mean, I personally, I tend to prefer the quieter places and more countryside places. But, within the cities themselves, there's loads and loads of little pockets of places and micro villages.
It's unbelievable.
Check out that,
I was
just special.
I was doing probably the most touristy thing possible. I was up in the Tokyo Skytree, and it's just like it doesn't end in every direction. It's Tokyo, to the skyline. It's absolutely unbelievable. That's probably one of the most touristy things you can do. But is it worth it? Absolutely. In my opinion. Yeah. Any specific encounters you can recall where language was an obvious barrier or funny anecdotes about
what people who go to Japan for the first time often say about the locals going out of their way. We were in a place called Hagi. I think it's in the Chugoku region on Honshu, the main island, and we were staying in a dormitory type place just to keep costs low at the time, and we were. I forgot. I just left my toothbrush at home when we were traveling, and I just said to one of the guys in the reception area, "Can I, I want to get a toothbrush?" And his English was kind of not that great actually, but I just, so I said to him, and I was like doing the charades bit, brushing the teeth. Oh, okay.
Body language.
And he was like, yeah. So he was basically, the gist of it was I could tell he was saying, "Oh yeah, you can get one round here. There's a pharmacy not far away." So okay, fine. I'll just roughly tell me where it is. I mean, I've got a smattering of Japanese, so I've got survival Japanese, so I can get by when I need to. But this guy he said, no, I'll take you there. It's not far. I'm thinking, okay, it's like a couple of doors up. And we were walking for about 5 minutes, walking around this street, then down another one, over a bridge.
Yeah.
Seriously, it was like about best part of 6-7 minutes by the time we got. And then there was a pharmacy. He said the one at the end of the road with the light on, because it was evening now, it was dark. And he said, that's the one. He said, I'll wait here and I'll walk back for you. So I went to the pharmacy, got my toothbrush, met the guy again, and he walked me back to the hostel. And it was just amazing. But the amount of times that happens for people saying, even within shops, that's the other thing is, when you're traveling off the beaten track, which I try to encourage, is if you are not sure where you're going, and don't be afraid to ask for sure, especially when you're in a small town, even people in the shops just leave their shops and will come out and walk down the street and point you to the right. So, it's never be afraid to ask.
Yeah, I think that's true. Often, at least where I'm in the countryside, the locals are maybe a little bit more shy to have an encounter with a wild foreigner from another country, whereas that wild foreigner from another country, is intimidated themselves about, getting into a conversation. So I think you just got to kind of do your best to break down that wall. And, if you have a little rough encounter here or there, then you just keep moving on and you keep rolling with the punches, because like anywhere, you're mostly going to find yourself surrounded by good people who are willing to help you out.
Yeah.
If you're being respectful, and I think that goes without saying for pretty much anywhere you visit.
Yeah, that's true, and probably more of Japan than many other countries actually, because the whole thing about personal space and personal interaction in Japanese culture, it is quite specific, if you like. It's quite different to a lot of Western countries, and there is a little section in the book about using body language when you don't speak the language. Use body language, and there's a few sort of pointers in there about keeping your gestures quite measured, keeping the tone of your voice very even. I mean, Japanese pronunciation of the language is fairly even. There's not a lot of stress on certain syllables and things like that. So again, keeping your tone of voice quite moderate. Obviously, keep the volume low. All these sorts of things. And then again, as you say, just making that kind of measured approach, or the right tonal approach, cultural approach, really, will be well received and get you further.
Nobody's going to throw you in jail, nobody's going to run you out of town if you're a little bit loud or overbearing. I mean, anything like that. But if you're trying to get the best results, you want to put your best foot forward. I'm naturally a kind of louder person, and I catch myself here and there, just making sure, when that I'm being measured about things when I want to put my best foot forward as well. And I've been here a couple years. So for somebody who's living in the country, you have a huge amount of benefits, and you've got, maybe some drawbacks. But for somebody who's just visiting the country, who's just coming for a vacation, I think it's almost entirely benefit. Somebody's going to have a great time with a minimal amount of planning and just being friendly and outgoing and respectful.
Yeah, that's certainly in my experience and all the experience of people that give me feedback through my blog and my subscribers. It's the same thing, and that's one of the pleasures of traveling wherever you are. I mean, to get that interaction with the locals really takes it to another level, and that's what's good about it. Even if you don't speak the language, or you only speak, you've just got your phrase book with you, or your translation app. That just use those basics, and that really does take it to another level in terms of getting under the skin of the surface of traveling.
Absolutely. Rob, I just really want to thank you for joining us today. We had a nice little chat about your new ebook, which is Traveling in Japan Without Speaking Japanese. I encourage everybody to go and check that out. You can download that at once you subscribe to therealjapan.com, and you have a dedicated website for that now as well.
I do. Yeah. It's howtotravelinjapan.com.
Very cool. All right, Rob, well, thanks for talking to us, and look forward to see what you got coming up in the future.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for having me. Good chatting to you.
Take care.